Sodium is not the devil, and as a bodybuilder, you really need it, bam, if you want to make gains, and you're going to need it for show prep. All right, in this episode, we're going to talk about sodium and how it works in your body and what it does. We're going to talk about it from a bodybuilder perspective. So how we use salt to manipulate aldosterone levels to get a certain look. And we're going to talk about the different types of salt that we use for cooking. First, I want to state that I am not a doctor. Although I did play one with a couple of nurses, that was kind of, that's neither here nor there. Just make it clear, I am not a doctor. All right, let's clarify some things to start with. First, sodium is what we find in our food, and salt is what we put on our food. Now, this is sodium chloride, table salt. Now, this is mined, and they mine it and they extract out all the impurities, so it's nothing but sodium chloride. Now, they might leave in iodine, like you've seen Morton salt with iodine in it. Now, sea salt is evaporated ocean water, and it has all the minerals and trace minerals left in it along with the sodium chloride. Many organizations and the recommended daily allowance of salt is about 2,300 milligrams, which is about a teaspoon. So if you sweat a lot or you live in a hot environment, you're obviously going to need more sodium than that. So the human body requires a small amount of sodium to work. You need it to conduct nerve impulses. Your body uses sodium to contract and relax muscles. And sodium is needed to help maintain the right amount of water and minerals in your body. If you don't have enough sodium in your system, it leads to hyponatremia. Low sodium levels can lead to muscle cramps, nausea, vomiting, and dizziness. And in really severe cases, it can lead to shock, coma, and death. Let's make something perfectly clear. Sodium will not make you fat. Now, sodium will make you retain water, which is absolutely a good thing because your muscles really need to be hydrated in order to be anabolic. But make no mistake, water weight is not fat. So if you think sweating equates to fat loss, then you are sadly mistaken. So how does your body regulate sodium? Now, this is really important for bodybuilders, and you really got to know this. It's all about aldosterone. The body produces a hormone called aldosterone. It is a steroidal hormone produced by the adrenal cortex. It helps control the balance of water and salt in the kidneys by keeping sodium in and releasing potassium in the body. Okay, it is worth mentioning that aldosterone in high levels can increase your blood pressure and it can increase fluids in the body. So if your aldosterone level is really high, then that means you're going to retain water. So remember that. Sodium levels help lower your level of aldosterone. So if your level of aldosterone is high, you are going to retain water. Remember that. Now, when your sodium levels are up, your aldosterone levels go down. So I'm going to add in this clip from Dave Palumbo because he explains that relationship really well, and frankly, he can do it better than I can.
I find that when you train hard and you sweat a lot, you need a lot of sodium in your diet. I also find that when you restrict sodium for too long, you become supersodium sensitive, meaning that if you reduce sodium in your diet for long periods of time, your body raises a hormone known as aldosterone. Aldosterone's job is to reabsorb sodium and water. If you have a lack of sodium in your body's going to think it doesn't have enough aldosterone, which is going to raise it up really high. Now when you try to actually lose water and sodium, it's very difficult because you have too much aldosterone around. If you're constantly eating salt on a regular basis, which is what your body needs, it'll keep you hydrated properly, it'll keep your electrolytes balanced so you don't cramp when you're training, and it'll keep your aldosterone suppressed. Sodium suppresses aldosterone because you don't need aldosterone if you have enough sodium, right? Now, at the end of, when you're trying to dry out, if you remove the sodium that last day, okay, your body just pees water right out because there's nothing to hold it. There's no aldosterone present, and it takes a couple of days before your body catches up and starts raising aldosterone levels. So you can lose water really rapidly, even without a diuretic. Now, if you throw like a diazide on top of that, which forces your kidneys to dump more sodium and water, it's even better. So that's why I never restrict sodium, only the last day. And sometimes I don't even restrict it the last day. On people that are really dry and hard, I find sometimes it flattens them out too much. They don't even need that much. I keep the sodium going, and I even increase it the last day. And I might just, like I say, give them a little bit of a diazide or half a diazide here or there just to flush the little extra out. But, not everyone needs it. It's a person by person type of thing. It's definitely a huge mistake to restrict sodium for long periods of time, however. That's the dumbest thing of all time.
If you found value with this video, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button, and it makes the thing go poof. It really does help me out. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Masters Muscle. All right, let's talk about the different types of salt that we use for cooking. This is table salt. This is ordinary sodium chloride. This is, Morton's. It doesn't have any trace elements or anything in it. Now, this is also referred to as a baking salt. So if you're baking pies, cakes, this is the type of salt that you want to use, but make sure that you don't have the type with iodine in it because it has an extra minerally taste that you really don't want in your food. So this is generally not for general cooking purposes. This is my favorite type of salt. This is diamond kosher salt. A lot of chefs and cooks use this. And this is a large flake salt, and it has literally half the amount of taste of this. So if I took a pinch of the sodium chloride and tasted it, it'd be like, woo, wow. But if I use a pinch of this, it's like half. Now this is what you want to use that you're going to sprinkle on top of your food. You can use this for cooking, a lot of applications, but not necessarily for baking. This is another type of salt. This is a finishing salt. This is Maldon salt, and it's actually made in Maldon, England, and it is an ocean salt that is evaporated. It has a really large flake, and you put it on vegetables or a dessert, and it is really good. It really has a nice little zing to it. All right, let's take a look at the Maldon salt. So I'm going to sprinkle some of that in there so you can see how large these salt crystals are. And when I taste this, you have to suck on it a little bit before you even get that salty taste. But when it comes, you get this nice little zing. So this is really great on vegetables, especially green beans. So you can use sea salt along, with the diamond kosher salt. Sea salt is usually a little bigger grain. And you have your pink Himalayan salts. Those are all finishing salts. You don't put that in a pot to get a pot to boil. That is what you're going to sprinkle on top of a food. At the beginning of this video, I talked about how the recommended daily allowance of salt is around 2,300 milligrams, which is about a teaspoon. So I want you to get an idea about how much that is. All right, I want to give a little demonstration about how much a pinch of salt is. So one thing I like about kosher salt is it's really easy to pinch and control it and sprinkle it down. It's really hard to do that with regular table salt, and that's why another reason why chefs really like to use this type of diamond kosher salt. So I put a pinch of salt on 5 of my meals and my vegetables. So here we go. I've got a pinch in my hand. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you see, I don't even have a full teaspoon of this salt. So you can see that I'm not even getting the RDA amount just from my pinches of salt. And this is not nearly as powerful as a regular table salt. So I still have plenty of room for other sodium that's found in foods, and I'm not going over my salt intake. Someone asked me how much protein I eat. I said all of them. I hope you got a lot out of this video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section. I will answer them to the best of my ability. And until next time, this is Yaakov Baram.